Hi, everybody. We're just getting set up here in our studio and we will be ready in one moment. Thank you so much for your patience.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good, good, good. So we are just finishing setting up our cameras and everything for you. So we will be ready in just a moment here.
Hello.
Hi. All right. How's everybody doing? Awesome, awesome.
Good.
Good.
Doing
Awesome.
great.
So thank
How
you guys
about
for your
you?
patience. I'm sorry, we're trying to get all this set up here. So welcome to our
Hello.
conversation class. My name is Ellen. I am a teacher here at Approach, and I have taught many conversation classes in the past, especially when we started during the pandemic. So I'm always happy to come back and see everybody. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Good? Amazing, amazing. So today we have a few things to talk about. First, do you want to be live with us? You can scan this QR code anytime. We have a WhatsApp group that you can join and get messages and updates about our classes anytime you're looking. First, today, I would love to talk about cultural behavior and expectations in the workplace. When you work in a business, cultural expectations and behavior really makes a big difference in the interactions with you and your colleagues and your superiors. So I wanted to see what we could talk about today with cultural behaviors and expectations in the workplace. Approach is an international business in the sense that we are located in the United States, but we work with international people every day. As an American, I learned how to be culturally aware and acknowledge other cultures. So I have some questions for you guys first. I wanted to know, have you ever experienced a situation where cultural differences caused confusion in the workplace? Share with me. Is there ever a time, a situation where cultural differences at your job made something complicated? Who wants to share? Mm-hmm. That's great. I think eventually it happens to all of us, but if you haven't experienced that yet, at least you can be prepared for the future in case it does. Anybody else? What do you do for your job?
I'm project coordinator, and I don't remember a specific story
cultures, but I know that it's really important to be prepared for that because there are a lot of kind of cultures. So I think it's important to be open for this, something like this available for them.
Yes, yes, especially if you're working as a project coordinator, you're working with many people a lot, all the time. So you need to be aware of what other cultures think is appropriate in the workplace. Amazing. Thank you, Erica. Sorry, I'm taking a look here to see if we have anybody else who would like to share. Have you ever experienced this in your workplace before? Some kind of cultural confusion or culture shock?
Teacher, can you give us an example to be in this situation?
Yeah, definitely. I can give you an example. So, for example, you are at work and somebody from another office, for example, you're in the United States and maybe somebody from Japan is visiting your office for a business trip. Maybe that person does not want to make physical contact, shake your hand at work. In the United States, this is something we'll get to in a little bit, we typically shake somebody's hand when we meet them for the first time. But in another country, maybe that's not appropriate. Have you ever had an experience like that before? That's okay if you haven't. And if you have, maybe you felt embarrassed potentially, but we learn from these situations. I know that here at Approach, we have so many people and we have to learn really how to navigate these interactions that may be surprising or may be different. So I have another question for you. Why is cultural awareness important in the workplace? Can anybody give me a reason why? Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm working with people from around the world, and I think that time zone has been a bit of an issue for us.
Ooh, interesting point, a time zone.
With IST, EST,
Yes.
has been quite challenging. There were no conflicts at all, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been tough on us
I
since we were
understand.
implementing a lot of projects.
Especially if people are
And
not
I
on the
think,
same schedule.
yes, and I think that cultural awareness is important because it prevents us from dealing with conflict in the workplace.
Mm-hmm. I agree. If conflict arises, if you're culturally aware, it will be a little bit easier to navigate that conflict or maybe even prevent the conflict. That's a great point. Time zones, when you have an international business with time zones, it can be difficult when you're coordinating with your colleagues and trying to finish something in a timely manner. If you have a project that's due, but the other person is on the other side of the world, 8 hours ahead or behind even, they're sleeping, it can be difficult to have proper collaboration. Amazing. Would anybody else like to share? Why is cultural awareness important in the workplace?
I want to share my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that culture is very important because if you work in a place with tourists or in the touristic country, you must to know all the culture of the country and know the history of the country like that.
Exactly. If you don't know the history of the country, it can be a lot more difficult to understand why these cultural things happen. And there may be effects from many years. I agree. Thank you so much for sharing. Would anybody else like to share?
Teacher, I want to share with you an idea.
Yeah.
I think it comes also with the language. So each country and each place has its own language. So sometimes you may find some words are not available in some countries.
Yes.
We should be aware of this thing.
100%. I agree. That's a wonderful point. Thank you for sharing. Language is everything. And we know that language really, the tone of something or the formality or informality can really adjust the smooth transition of tasks or projects. Language, when learning about culture, how a culture speaks, how people speak together. Are they more direct or indirect? So important to be aware of. Anything else we'd like to share? Okay. So I see Neza. Neza, you can go ahead.
Oh, Neza wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Next. Go ahead, Neza.
Okay. Yeah, I think when you live another country or you work another country, there are a different culture, different tradition,
Yes.
and you need to understand this culture. You can't bring your own culture to another country or where you work.
I
And you
understand.
need to be aware of this culture and this tradition.
Yes. I agree. Traditions, it makes me think of holidays and religious holidays that culturally, if you're in a large group with mixed cultures, there's going to be different traditions within the workplace, within the family, in the home. And also, I think of the holidays that you celebrate. If you follow different religions, you may celebrate different holidays. And what does that mean? Do you take time off? Do you still work? Depends on many factors. Thank you for sharing. And Meredith, you wanted to share?
Yes. Actually, I wanted to add that
Yeah.
sometimes religion can be a lot of can be quite challenging as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it's not a problem for my team at all. But sometimes when our religion is too different, it can cause some conflicts in the
Yes.
workplace.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Navigating these differences in culture, potentially through religion and what is allowed or not allowed and other concepts, other thoughts. It is a navigation that we have to be careful because we don't want to offend people and we want to value everybody's beliefs. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share?
Also, I think culture awareness is very important for the comfort of clients. So the businessman or the project leader is important for him to know, to have a wide knowledge in cultures worldwide. So he is going to make his clients very comfortable and he's going to improve his project.
Yes, I agree. I think of language here too. Even knowing one word in the other language will make that connection stronger. If you show that you care about their culture, it makes a huge difference in the client's happiness. They feel like you really care about them and that you are open and welcome. Amazing. Great ideas, you guys. Anything else?
Yes,
You can share
yes,
anytime. Yes.
yes. Also, if you want to practice your own culture, your own tradition, uh, you can do with your family. You can learn your culture, your children.
Mm-hmm.
But you need also open or the other culture. You need to open the other culture, and you can't force other people to practice with you your culture, your tradition.
Yes, I agree. If you're moving to a new country, you should be open to learning about their culture. If you're going to live there and you want to feel happy and successful, part of that is learning the culture and being open to the culture. And so keeping an open mind is so important. Anybody else? Wonderful ideas, really wonderful ideas. All right, I have some more slides for you here. So I'm going to see, one moment. Beautiful. I have some vocabulary for us. And I'm actually going to make my way to our board so that we can go over these words together. So we have 7 words here: dress code, collaboration, professionalism, work-life balance, work ethic, punctual, and hierarchy. Before we review the definitions, are there any words here that you already know?
Can you repeat the vocabulary, please?
Which number, I'm sorry?
I don't see the board as much.
Oh, I'm sorry. One moment. One moment. We will adjust. Is that better for us?
Actually, I know them all. Yes,
Amazing. I'm so happy. So you know them all already. That's amazing. That's amazing. Let's transition here to the board so we can write our definitions. Here, let me pick a good color so we can see. First, who can tell me what is a dress code?
The way of dressing.
A way of dressing. Thank you. Now, can we apply this to only business?
No, it
No.
depends on the situation.
Yeah, what
Even
kind
in
of?
school.
Exactly, even in school. How many of you had a dress code at school?
I did.
Anybody else? Some schools have uniforms, some schools
We
have
just
a dress
the
code.
white coat we did.
Very nice, very interesting.
Yeah, some schools have uniforms, and when the school is organizing a party or for different celebrations, they have a dress code as well.
I agree. My high school had a dress code, and it was written in our student handbook. Approach has a dress code, and that is written in our faculty handbook. What dress code do you have at your job? Do you have any specific dress code in your job? At Approach, we have business casual. So here, business casual is not casual clothing, but business, though it's not so formal.
Maggie raised her hand, so if you want to ask her.
Yeah, go ahead if you'd like to share.
Hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay. I didn't.
No problem.
Yeah, come later. And about my job, it's not the dress code, but it's like a code of conduct.
Yeah.
We don't have to wear anything that might, because I work for refugees and asylum seekers.
Wow.
And we don't have to use any dress that might remind them of their own experience, like green or like those clothes weird by police or army or something like this. And also, we don't have to use fancy clothes or attractive clothes as we have to give that image that we are like helping them, not showing off our like fancy life.
Yeah.
If it is yeah.
Very interesting. Thank you for
I'm from
sharing.
Morocco.
From Morocco, very nice, very
From
nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Anybody else would like to share?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What is the importance of having a dress code
What is
in workplaces?
what is the importance of a dress code?
Yes.
The importance of a dress code in the workplace is to ensure a professional image for the workplace. So when you are in a business, you want to have a level of professionalism, which is one of our words here today, professionalism. 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 One F there, sorry, professionalism with one S. Professionalism. So you want to be a certain level of professional, and one way to do that is to set a dress code for a standard so that everybody can follow. There's no questions, there's no maybe inappropriate clothing. A lot of times, for example, pajamas are not appropriate for the workplace. So the importance of a dress code really tells us how we should show up to work every day to represent the image of the company. Good questions, very good questions.
Yes, I think when people are working remotely, they can be more casual though.
A lot of times we've seen that happen, especially during the pandemic. Many people had business on the top, party on the bottom, for example. A pajama bottoms, but a nice blouse. That is risky potentially if you have to stand up. So it's something that depends on your workplace as well.
By the way, teacher, this ethics in business is the first unit we have it. We had it in our program school.
Very nice. That's very nice. It's really important to learn in many contexts. Amazing. I wanted to ask you guys, what about something like tattoos or dyed hair? Are there any taboos, or is that accepted in your culture? If I come to the workplace with many tattoos on my arms and it's exposed, is that okay, or is that not okay for you in your culture?
These are inappropriate in the workplace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I hear you.
And especially for white collar workers.
Yes. It definitely depends on what kind of job you're doing as well. I would say in the United States now, something like dyed hair, your hair is blue or green, you have tattoos, it's a lot more accepted now, piercings, it's a lot more accepted now, but there are still in some cases in the United States where it's not as allowed, it needs to be covered, it needs to be hidden from view. Interesting. So that was one thing I wanted to ask you guys. So I have some other words on my list to share with you. I had here professionalism, so we just discussed this. Another word I had was hierarchy. Let me write this here for you guys. Hierarchy. What is a hierarchy?
Different levels of authority.
Yeah, that's a great definition. Different levels of authority. Different levels of authority. Amazing. Now, in different places.
I didn't understand the word.
Okay, no problem. We can review. Hierarchy is, for example, in a business, you have the CEO, the boss, the leader, the owner. And then you have the manager. And then you maybe just have the regular employee who's not a manager.
Supervisor.
Exactly, a supervisor. So there's a level of hierarchy of superiors in your business. And so every business has a hierarchy of people. The discussion between the hierarchy is where we can talk about culture in a few moments. I do have some more words for you as well on the slide that I'd like to share. Lucas, could you help me with that? I just need to be able to see them. Thank you, that's okay, no problem. Perfect. Okay, collaboration, that was a word I forgot in the middle. Collaboration. Collaboration. Amazing. What is collaboration?
Work together.
Yeah, working together. Exactly. Why would I put the word collaboration in this conversation? Why is collaboration an important topic with cultural expectations in the workplace?
Because when you work as a team, you can get your goals more accurately.
Yeah. Thank you.
May I chime in?
Yes, you may.
I would say that collaboration fosters cultural synergy and helps us achieve the business goals.
Great definition as well. Cultural synergy, I like that. Synergy, good word. When we're collaborating with others, we want to have a smooth and a successful collaboration. Otherwise, it's not a collaboration if it's not very amicable. And being able to communicate successfully with somebody else and overcome those cultural hurdles, then we can collaborate better. I also have two words here, number 4. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I see this word in Instagram Live all the time.
Yes, YouTube.
In the process, exactly.
Yes, exactly. So people who are on YouTube and Instagram, influencers, they will say, this is our collab, for short, collab. And the collaboration is these two influencers or content creators working together. You definitely will see that a lot. In music as well. So I have here the words work-life balance. What is work-life balance? Work-life balance. It's important to have a work-life balance. Do we know? It's a
What is his name?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Can you explain this vocabulary? I don't understand.
I can. And there's somebody who's raised their hand here. Would you like to share? I think it's Nadia.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say that having a life balance, a balanced work life. I can see the word. It's really far. This has mean that you don't succeed in one side. For example, in your work, or hurting or failing in the other one. For example, being a project manager, a successful one, and having a lot of success among your colleagues, but in the other side, you don't take care of yourself. You have health issues, and vice versa. You succeed in your your personal life, going to the gym, doing everything you want, but don't punctual in your job because of that. So yeah, I hope I could.
No, that's a great definition. That's a great definition. Work-life balance is having a balance of your work and your life. If you're working so much, you spend less time in your life. If you spend too much time in your life, maybe you're not spending enough time at work. And so we want to have a balance. And this is something that's different in each culture, is how much balance we value. How many vacations do people take? Are they expected to work overtime? These are some questions we have. Thank you so much. And go ahead if anybody else would like to share.
I think you can call Meredith. She would raise her hand.
Meredith, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yes, I was going to say, life balance. Personal life and professional life.
I hear you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. So the next we have is work ethic, which is a little similar to work-life balance. They're related. What is a work ethic? If I say, she has a really strong work ethic, what am I saying? Work ethic.
For example, respecting the work needs.
Mm-hmm. Yes, respecting the work needs. Anything else?
You need to follow role.
Mm-hmm. Part of your work ethic is following the rules at work. Yes. So your work ethic, if I'm sorry, go ahead.
Behaving in place.
Mm-hmm. And it's also a lot of it is also related to your motivation to work. If somebody has a strong work ethic, they work really hard. They care so much about their job. They work every day. They don't call out sick. Somebody with a strong work ethic, you can rely on them. You know they care about their job. If I say somebody does not have a strong work ethic, a weak work ethic, they don't really care about their job as much. They don't have motivation. And maybe they call out sick every day. They show up late. It's about your kind of dedication and motivation for work. That is work ethic. And then we already discussed hierarchy, so our last word is punctual. What does punctual mean? Punctual.
Being on time.
Yes, it means that you are on time. Being on time, depending on what culture you're from, means different things. Being on time can sometimes mean being late. Being on time can sometimes mean being very early. What is the respect of punctuality in the workplace? So these are, I'm sorry, go ahead.
There is a difference between being on time and being in time.
I would say being on time, we use the preposition on, to be on time. But to be in time, I would say that's more something that I hear related to music, actually, keeping in time with a beat of a song. But on time is what we use for being punctual. Like right on time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know the prepositions before all of our phrases, crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the couch here. I'm done with the board for now. Thank you guys for this. And I have questions for us to discuss. We have about 15 more minutes, so let's see what we can cover. Here. Okay. All right, so in your culture, the first question here, I'm talking about greetings and introductions. In your culture, what is considered an appropriate greeting when you meet somebody for the first time? Should you use their title, if you know their title, if they are a doctor, if they're sir or ma'am? Do you use a title? And do you shake their hand like I mentioned before? We have different cultural rules about physical touch and personal space. So I want to ask you guys, in your culture, in your workplace, what is a typical greeting or introduction like? Anybody who would like to share?
Can you repeat the question?
I can. So in your workplace, when you meet somebody for the first time, do you shake their hand? Do you greet them in a specific way? Do you call them by their title? Or do you call them by their name? If I meet somebody for the first time, I would shake their hand.
Situation,
Yes.
especially when it comes to gender, maybe sometimes male and female.
Definitely. Gender plays a big part of this. Depending on what culture you're from, it may not be appropriate to be with the other gender. That may not be an option at all. Amazing.
I'd say
Depends
all
on
of the
the
above.
age of the workmate.
It does depend on the age. Interesting. So if they are older than you or the same age or younger than you, yeah. Typically we see that if they're older, we are more formal, we show more respect. We still show respect if they're younger, but sometimes we're less formal.
During the pandemic, we've been taught to wave to people, though.
Yes. Yes. During the pandemic, we did not physically touch people. And so we had to readjust that. If you were at a workplace with a mask, adjusting to interacting with somebody when you can't read their lips. Culturally, that can be tough if you're speaking a different language.
Teacher, how do you write the word?
I'm sorry, what was your
You
question?
said we shake hands, or how we write the word?
Ooh, how do you write the word? So here, I would like to, Lucas, can I go back to the board to write the word? Okay, let me do that here for you. Handshake. 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 One word. One word here. Handshake. Thank you. Good question.
Thank you.
Of course, anytime. So typically, if I was to meet somebody for the first time, my boss would maybe introduce me to this person. And they would say, hello, hi, Ellen, this is Dr. Chang. And then I would shake Dr. Chang's hand and say, nice to meet you, Dr. Chang, because that's the American way. But maybe Dr. Chang does not want to shake my hand, and I need to learn or understand that and not feel offended or that it was personal. Mohammed, is there something you would like to share?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah.
Teacher, in our country, for example, if I meet somebody for the first time, it depends on the situation. It depends on someone who I meet. For example, if she's a female, we usually, actually, we can never shake hands because according to our country's law, it's not allowed to shake hands. But if he is a male, we can shake hands. And in terms of greeting and introducing, if I go somewhere with somebody else, for example, with my friend who is already working there, for example, in an office, my friend usually introduce me. For example, hello everybody. For example, this is Mahadi Rasik. But if I am going alone, I say myself that hello everybody, my name is, for example, Muhammad Hadi, and it's nice to meet you, and then they will introduce themselves.
Thank you, Mohammed, for sharing. Definitely, gender interactions in cultures are so different, I would say, between we could say the Eastern world and the Western world sometimes. In general, we have to learn those and be open to understanding and noticing maybe it's different, that's okay. And we learn how to interact going forward. Very nice. Thank you, Mohammed. That was awesome.
In Brazil, it's common shaking hands. It's not a problem between gender, but it's a formal way and a polite way.
Yeah.
But we shake hands during business.
Very
it's really
nice.
Common in Brazil.
And what about the kisses on the cheek? Is that something that is done in the workplace or no?
I think it's the first moment not appropriate. I think it's something that is so close. I believe it's something between friends, family, something like this. In business, I think it's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Even in Brazil, because sometimes people think in Brazil is like carnival, but it's not like this. We have a culture, a close culture, but we have the respect for the others, and being polite, and things like this in business.
Yes, definitely. In business, it's so different than in our personal life, for sure. Thank you for sharing. It's really interesting to see how different cultures handle these interactions. And so here, I have another question right here for us. How important is punctuality? We can get into this, being on time. So, do you arrive on time to your job? Are you expected to arrive early? If you arrive late to a meeting, is that bad? Is that okay? What do you guys want to tell me about punctuality in the workplace, in your home? Being on time. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's good to be punctual, to respect your colleagues' time, because they took their time to get to the workplace at the right time, and so it's also important for you as well to arrive at the workplace at the right time. Yeah.
Definitely. Arriving on time in most cultures is the norm. Anybody else would like to share? Nadia? Yeah.
Yeah, I can join. Whoever answered the question, because punctuality is really showing how ethic you are in your job. But in my job, we have a flexible schedule. It means that you, yeah, unless you do all your hours, like 8 hours, and have a half an hour break, you can come between half past 7 and 10 p.m. And then you can finish your hours, and it's also between colleagues. For example, if I have something, an emergency, I can call my other colleagues and tell them that I have to come a little bit late, and then they can cover my job until I arrive to the work. So yeah, I think it really depends on the job you are doing.
Yeah, I agree. The job that you do, because if you do a job that is primarily in person, that could be more difficult. If you have a job that's online and remote, maybe that's more flexible. It depends on your career, your position in the company, so many factors. But having a flexible schedule is very nice.
For me, I think coming on time, is a very important thing, especially we in our school. If you come late, they're going to close the door, and you're going to return back to your house.
Wow.
And even for the teacher, he has to come on time. If he come late, they're going to remove from his payment.
Wow, wow, very interesting. Wow, thank you for sharing.
In my opinion, arriving on time, it's very important for job, and it show your personality to respect your job, your supervisor, your boss, and help make a good relationship with the co-worker, with your supervisor, and also it help you to succeed in your goals, your skills in future.
Yes. Time management is so important, and your work time management is just part of that. And if you show up on time, you arrive early, your managers, your colleagues will see that and see that you're very dedicated and that you care about your job. If you consistently show up late, it can be a problem. Amazing. Anybody else that would like to share?
In our country, if you are late, the administration check if you are late or not. No, and if you are late, they how to say it, they check, and I don't have the the sentence.
That's okay, no problem at all. They can check and they could maybe remove your pay, as was mentioned by our colleagues earlier. You could request to take time, they could make you request take time off.
Yeah. It's problem for you if you are late.
Definitely, definitely. Wow. And it's something that in your personal life, being late maybe has less consequences. Or culturally, in South America, being late is more relaxed, the feeling about it, but maybe not at work, only in your personal life. Definitely, definitely. My friends, is there anything else we would like to share? We have just a minute left, but I wanted to give a chance if anybody else would like to share something before we go today.
Teacher, I want to say this session was very amazing with you.
Thank you.
And I learned plenty vocabulary today.
Amazing. Thank you guys for being here. You make my job easy when you're here, truly. Thank you. Well, my friends, thank you so much. We have classes every day. We have classes tomorrow. We have classes on Friday.
In the class right now?
Thank you.
Yes, the class is from 3 to 4, so we're finishing. But we have class tomorrow and Friday if you'd like to join.
So you got more lists available for that list here?
Yes, you can go to YouTube.
You got more lists tomorrow?
You can go to the YouTube and see the stream.
All right.
Amazing. So if you go there, you can watch this whole class again. All right. Thank you all so much. And I'll see you later.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you.